Hello and welcome to And Beyond, our monthly development update and community Q&A session. I'm Adam from the D&D Beyond team. Happy to have you with us today. We're going to jump right in. As always, we are going to discuss why we are here. We're going to share the latest updates, everything that's been going on with D&D Beyond in the last month or so. I'm going to provide a data update this time about feats and alignment, so a couple of pretty controversial subjects. We're going to dive into a little bit of the data with our millions of characters. We're getting some really great data at this point, so we're going to share some of those numbers. I'm going to talk a little bit about our fantastic moderation team that works on the website, so introduce them where you guys can say hello to them on the forums and on the website. Then we're going to talk about our short-term roadmap. Where are we going? What is next for the D&D Beyond development team? We're going to share some of those details, what's happening with mobile, and especially what the next steps are. And then the character sheet revamp that we've been talking about for a little while. I'm going to actually show you guys some new sections that you haven't seen today. So this thing is starting to materialize and is coming together nicely. We're really excited about it, and we will kind of kick the tires of that a little bit today. And then, of course, I want to leave plenty of time for questions, so we will answer questions from the forums. I've collected those already. Thank you guys for submitting those, so we'll be able to probably cover a lot of bases with those questions. And then with whatever time we have left, we will open it up to chat, so be sure you can start asking questions now. Especially, I think what they tell me is a great protocol to use for this is type in the word question before you ask the question, where that will help Mr. Todd Kenrick collect all of those, and I will do some rapid fire improv at the end trying to answer all those questions. So let's dive in. Oh yes, almost forgot about this. So I think we've had a word for the day the last couple of times that we've come together. Today we're going to do things a little bit differently, and I think this might have something to do with the sanity of our moderators, but we're going to do this a little bit differently today. We're going to play Where's Bad Eye, like that wonderful Where's Waldo game that used to be around. I guess it still is around. I'm sure you can find it somewhere in the library or whatever, but we're going to play Where's Bad Eye. So this little beholder icon that you see right there, the circle, I'm talking about the one that is appearing between the words, if you spot the beholder, that icon right there, and then on any of the upcoming screens. If you see that, then let us know in chat. If we happen to go past a screen and no one lets us know in chat, then we are not going to stop and give away a legendary bundle. But I think that we've got some eagle-eyed viewers out there that are going to pretty easily keep this in mind and remember this. Let us know in chat. We will stop and we will give away a legendary bundle. Just where everybody understands what that is. A legendary bundle is going to provide all of the official content that is available on D&D Beyond in one nice package. And then it will also give you 15% off going forward for any purchases in the future. So it's a big deal, and good luck to everyone. All right. Where we are, let's talk about what has been going on with D&D Beyond. So we always like to take the path of using kind of the strategy is we want to put in some quality of life smaller updates while we are working on some of the really, really big items that are kind of in the queue. So some of the quality of life updates that are a little smaller, but they're also things that people have really prioritized and have kind of put forward in the forums and through social media that they really want to see. So the first of those is campaign character transfer. So at this point, we've seen this several times, but we have seen that ultimately with characters that a dungeon master might create, that you've got characters, players that are coming into those games. Maybe they're new to the game. Maybe it's something that they don't have the time to create those characters. Maybe you're playing a one-shot and the Dungeon Master just needs to get pre-generated characters to people in the campaign. This will allow you to do that. So anyone actually in the campaign, it doesn't have to be the Dungeon Master, can create a character, and then they can, within the context of that campaign, unassign that character, and that character goes into that unassigned bucket on the campaign screen, and then players can come and claim the character. And when they do that, it is transferring the ownership of that character to the other players. So this is something that we've put out. We've gotten some positive feedback on that, and we're going to continue to expand that entire system over time. Class pages, compiled options, so Warlock invocations from Xanathar's Guide to Everything are finally in place on our class pages. As I've told you before, this is a fairly simple change for us, but when we are trying to prioritize across so many competing features, this was one that started to bubble up to the top of that with feedback from the community. So the class pages that you go to now with all those compiled and combined options, it's a really, really easy way to especially show a new player or if you're a veteran player and you just want to see everything that is available for a particular class from any of the source books, you're going to see that all in one place in those compendium class pages now. So that has also been updated. We happen to release a mobile app into beta. So this is currently available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. I encourage everyone to go download it. We have seen a ton of response from this, so this has been great. I think somebody was kind of joking around the other day that I think we were number 3 in the books and reference section of at least the Play Store, and some of the things that were under it, were Bible apps and everything else, and it's like we didn't expect that kind of response. We're really, really happy to see it. Very happy that so many people are helping us beta test this and make this something that it eventually needs to be. So these are early days on this. We have released the e-reader portion of this, so it is an e-reader. That's what we set out to do here as a first pass. I think that we are in a really solid place with the e-reading component of what is going to make up the app, and then we'll talk a little bit later about what some of the next steps are with mobile. But really excited about the start. There's been a lot of work that has actually been really concentrated effort because we were not able to mobilize the resources for this until pretty late last year. And so in a pretty short time, the team has done a great job of creating something that is very useful for you to be able to access that compendium content on the go. Really excited about this response that we're seeing with the mobile app and people downloading it and people engaging with it. That is good for us because it confirms that it's a good direction for us to go, so we will be able to continue to invest in that and improve the mobile app over the course of the beta into eventual full release. So very excited about that. And then an update, what we had codenamed Rolling Stone, where we were trying to really bring together some of the emerging and preeminent voices in the D&D community and start allowing that voice to be heard and to showcased through D&D Beyond. That got off to a start, I think it was March 5th is when we started that. So I guess we're in is that the second week? Yeah, I think that's the way time works. So yeah, we're in the second week, I think, of that. Really excited so far about the response to this as well. And we really are doing this for the community. These are the kinds of things that I would like to read and to engage with. And so that is what we're really going after, is trying to allow people to, again, let their voice be heard. And so we're seeing some great things. As part of that, we did have some homepage updates that occurred where we could showcase this great content in a better way. So that also was launched, and we have now hit a cadence where every single day you can come to D&D Beyond and you are going to find something new. You are going to have something that you can engage with regarding Dungeons and Dragons, and this is a great way for people to just be in it. And that really is our goal here, is to give people something to really occupy their mind share on a daily basis. Because I know as fans, I'm a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan, obviously, but a huge MCU, Marvel Studios fan. Everything that happens with that. New Infinity War trailer hit today. I watched that as soon as I possibly could. I'm probably going to watch it 10 more times through the day. It's just something that we do as fans. We engage with what we love. And so we're trying to allow you to engage more and more with Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to continue to try to provide this really compelling and engaging content where you can continue to do that on a daily basis. All right, so let's jump into some interesting data. So starting out with feats, I saw that some discussion started happening with Jeremy on Twitter about this, and I think he made the statement. I think the statement got a little confused here or there. I mean, it is the internet after all. Those things happen all the time. But he made a statement that the majority of characters do not use feats. And according to our data, again, millions of characters that we're sampling here, that data absolutely holds true. Now, obviously, I'm not getting into the design factors behind any of that. I will let Jeremy, fend off the lions with all of that part of it, and he does a phenomenal job with that. But I do want to show you from a data perspective that since humans are so popular, and variant humans in particular are popular, you do have 9% of the total characters that we have are variant humans, because it means that they have a feat before 4th level. So you see that in our data. And then you see that between kind of the middle levels, the second second tier here and everything, you're going to see that only 32% of the characters are actually using feats in one way or another. Again, this could have something to do with trying to get ability score improvements in place before you go after feats. You can kind of see that when you go to level 12 and beyond. That is where you start to see that 44% of characters are going to have feats at that point in time. But even at that level, when we started to get into higher level play, we're not seeing the percentage. And I think I could have gone up to level 16 plus here, but when we get into that bucket of character levels, I think it still is only about 47%. So it is actually a very true statement, according to our data, that the majority of characters do not use feats. Now, again, I love feats. I'm going to always use feats in my game because I love options, and I'm going to let players have all the options they can. We're not going to debate the virtues of having feats or allowing them or not. Just wanted to share some very interesting data across those millions of characters. Now, what are the top feats? So, Warcaster, by an overwhelming margin, is the most selected feat, which is a really interesting thing for me to see that we do not actually have that many more spellcasters than we do martial melee type combatant characters. So even when considering that the balance is kind of 50-50 between the spellcasting classes and non-spellcasting classes, we still see that Warcaster is by far the most selected feat with any of the characters on D&D Beyond. You see that Tough actually surprised me a good bit. It is, I think, a very underrated feat, but Tough is up there very prominently. And then, of course, I think it's not going to be a surprise for folks that Sharpshooter and Great Weapon Master are very well represented, as are Alert, Dual Wielder, and Lucky. I think Lucky could potentially be higher if more Dungeon Masters allowed it at their table. But yeah, so Lucky is also very high up there, and you can see all the way through Skilled. Some of the Xanathar's feats, such as Prodigy, you see Prodigy is actually the only one of those that has made it into, I think I do 20 there, so the top 20 of the feats, but Prodigy is obviously a very popular choice as well after it has been introduced. So just letting you guys know that this is the breakdown, again, across millions of characters on D&D Beyond. This is the data that we've started to see and the trends that have started to emerge. So the top feats by class. All right, so we've got Barbarian, not a lot of surprises here, to be honest. We've got Great Weapon Master for most of the kind of melee-focused classes. We're going to see that Barbarian and Fighter, and let's see, where's our Paladin there. All of them have Great Weapon Master as the top choice. I love the Paladin is just so straight-laced. No matter what is happening, the Paladin is just going to choose the choices that make the most sense. So it's Great Weapon Master, Shield Master, Heavy Armor Master. Makes a lot of sense for the Paladin. Oh, wait, I'm getting some messages. All right, somebody caught. We've got a little beholder icon down there. Congratulations, folks. I thought I might distract you with the busyness of this slide, but you caught it, and it is time to give away a legendary bundle. All right, we are going to give away a legendary bundle. You need to type something, not the word something, but something, some type of content into chat. You can tell, I imagine Todd's out there. You can tell any of our mods, Subsist Cyber, Source, any of these guys. You can tell them hello. You can tell them what you want for Christmas. Whatever you want to say there. But you got to say something in the chat, and then we are going to pick a winner in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Night Blooms with a Z. Congratulations, you have won a legendary bundle. All right, we got that one put down. Night Blooms with a Z. Congratulations. After the show here, we will contact you. We'll reach out to you we'll try it through DDB. If that doesn't work, we'll try to track you down here on Twitch and award you the legendary bundle. Congratulations again. All right, so back to feats data. We see that across all the spellcasting classes. Let me see if I'm making a blanket statement that is accurate. Yes. So across all the spellcasting classes, as you might imagine from the previous bit of information we shared, Warcaster is the top choice. You see that, interestingly, on Cleric and Druid Observant, which is, of course, one of the hybrid feats that gives you a +1 to Wisdom, as well as some other benefits, is also a very popular choice. Healer is a popular choice for Cleric. So again, not a lot of surprises with the data that we are seeing by class, but it is nice to have that confirmation. It means that people out there are, I would say, at a minimum, getting shepherded in a good direction, or they're reading guides online or whatever. But a lot of really solid choices here. All right, so let's talk about character alignment. I don't think this is going to be terribly surprising for anyone either. Chaotic Good is, pretty strongly in the lead here, followed by Chaotic Neutral and then Neutral Good. If, in fact, I think someone did ask me before we ran all of this data what I thought the order would be, and I'm pretty sure that I just missed the last two on Neutral Evil and Chaotic Evil. I had those two switched because I thought that if someone was going to be evil, they might prefer to do it chaotically. But slightly off on that. But yeah, these are the character alignments that we see across all of the classes. Really interesting distribution here. Barbarians actually are chaotic neutral more often than they are chaotic good. So again, going to kind of go through these pretty quickly. Bard actually follows the same exact trend as overall characters, which I find fascinating since Bards are so much of a jack of all trades that they are a very kind of across the board class, and we actually see that the alignments follow identically to the overall trends. Clerics, neutral good actually wins out here, which, again, pretty fascinating for me. And then lawful good, more important for a cleric than chaotic good. So druids, chaotic good, neutral. So a lot of the neutral alignments are represented at the left side of the distribution here, because I really think that there is a lot of this concept that people have had, especially from former editions, of that druids really value neutrality and all of that. So I think that really can color some of what's going on with druids. Fighters, chaotic good, chaotic neutral. pretty standard right there that we would imagine. Monks actually surprised me a little bit, because in previous editions we have heard things like monks, because they are so disciplined, are typically, kind of lean toward lawful. Lawful is actually a little further down the scale for monks. And so I think with 5th edition and some of the discussion about how alignment works, and it's not as prescriptive as it is descriptive, all of that, I think that monks have kind of broken out of their lawful shell, and we've got chaotic going on as well. So for paladins, I don't think this is a surprise either. Lawful good, there's a lot of history, a lot of fascinating lore going on with paladins, and so we see that lawful good by far wins out over any of the other alignments. And I'm hearing now that you guys, there's no tricking you guys. This is too easy. We're going to have to make this far harder the next time. But it is time, once again, to give away a legendary bundle. So you need to type something in the chat, and we are going to randomize in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nero Sword. What does that start with? Is it an N? N-E-U-R-O, Sword. All right, Nero Sword. Congratulations. We will contact you after the show. Thanks for participating, and congrats on the legendary bundle. All right, Rangers. Chaotic neutral, chaotic good, chaotic neutral. All those are pretty popular. Not a lot of surprises there. Rogue, no surprises at all here because chaotic neutral takes this away by a pretty large margin, followed by chaotic good. Sorcerers, they're a little more up in the air, but you can see that chaotic good wins out with them as well. Warlocks, a lot of chaotic neutral on the warlock side of things, and neutral really skews to the left side there. Maybe there's some psychology going on with the warlock. I don't know. We won't dig into that. All right, so wizard, chaotic good, chaotic neutral. I actually thought that lawful good would be a little higher for wizards across this data, but I think, again, those are some holdovers from some earlier editions, and people have really started to latch on to chaotic good as a wonderful alignment to be a hero while not having to follow all the rules. So, it's the right thing to do, the wrong way to do it. So chaotic good wins out across the board on most of these classes. But wanted to share all of that data because I think it's very fascinating information. We'll continue to do that as we come together each month. Had to go through that pretty quickly because I wanted to make sure we have plenty of time for questions, but we will certainly be sharing more and more of that. We're looking for some ways that we can start exposing that data and that information on a more regular basis as well. We'll provide updates on that when we have them. I want to talk about our moderator team. They are phenomenal. So spotlighting the mods, all of these people joined us very early in the process, and we are so grateful to have them. They have spent time and energy. They have dealt with, I hope you all love the artwork here by a Mr. Luke McKay. So Luke did this piece of artwork that is just fantastic because it shows us finally where the missing forest gnome and the missing chromatic orb have made it off to. So we are really, really happy to see that we finally found these things because that has become quite the meme on the forums with folks wondering, and obviously this all ties back to us not doing a great job of communicating what's there. So it's our problem, but it definitely has evolved into something here. So we're showing you where the forest gnome and the chromatic orb actually are. If you actually want them for for your character and you don't own the player's handbook, you can unlock the player's handbook and you can use them in your game. So the mods, we have Subsist Cyber was the very first mod that joined us. I think he might have joined us on day 1 of the beta. So he's the oldest of our mods here, not in age, but in tenure. And so so glad that he started the train here. Source, Firehawk, Storm Knight, you guys have seen these folks on the forums. Sedge, Philcat, all over the place, fixing things all the time, and then Villain Theory. Again, we are delighted and thrilled to have these folks helping us and they do a phenomenal job. I really, really ask the community, as you're reaching out to them, remember where these folks are coming from, that they love Dungeons and Dragons, and that they are helping out with this entire effort because they love engaging in the community. I encourage everyone, if you have questions, if you're looking for things, you can definitely look for their names and forum threads. And, we're just, again, grateful to have them. Our homebrew queue right now, I want to call this out. We have published homebrew. This is blown up. So as we get more and more users, we have so many homebrew submissions. I'm sure that folks have started to see a slight delay in the amount of time it takes for an approval to come through. The mods are really, really working through this. We're trying to work with them to help them and try to give them some tools to make that better. But they are spending their time and energy going through that queue and just doing a fantastic job with that. I want to use this opportunity to try to help them out a little bit and help folks understand that you do not have to publish every bit of homebrew that you make on the website. If you create a homebrew piece of content, you and any characters of yours can use that content privately with no restrictions. If you join a campaign, you will be able to use that content as well as any other homebrew content that someone has created privately. So private homebrew is accessible through your campaign as well. The only time that you would want to publish this, and again, we get a lot of false positives where people really shouldn't be publishing things that they should be just using in their home games. So with that, if you want to publish it, that is a use case where you have some type of original content that you yourself have created that you want to share with the community. Then it is the time that it is appropriate for you to share that and publish that homebrew content. So please keep our wonderful moderators in mind as you're publishing homebrew, and make sure that you don't publish homebrew that is a literal exact copy of some type of official source. You can use that. If you tweak one little thing, you can use that privately all you want to, and that is what we have that system in place for. But once you publish it, they're going to have to review it. They're going to see that you're trying to utilize the official content, and we're going to have to reject it. So wanted to throw that PSA out there to hopefully help our moderators retain their sanity. But again, thank you so much, moderators. Everything you guys are doing is just phenomenal. We really love having you here. All right. Now let's talk about where we're going. Let me see how we are doing on time. All right, we're okay. I'm going to have to speed up a little bit, though. So where we're going, we have been talking about the character sheet revamp for quite some time. And right now where we are, just where you guys understand, is we're still working on some of the final bits of layout with the sheet and trying to play test what's going on in the sheet. So again, this is a very important stage for us. We want to make sure that this product is really, really polished once we get it in your hands. We are also going to be working very, very soon on making sure that the read-only type of the character sheet, being able to copy a character to your account, to be able to share that character via social media and all of that is another part that we're going to be tackling really, really soon here, as well as trying to get in and make all the PDF updates. The great thing about the PDF updates is getting them in there is not that hard. It is more populating what is going to make its way in there, and that is the process we've been undergoing for a while now, and we're actually in a really good spot. So we're going to start moving into the PDF in the near future here and make sure that it is wrapped up. And those are major, major pieces that we are trying to finalize before we can get this into your hands. I know it's not happening quickly enough for everyone out there, but again, we really stand behind the quality of what's going to be put out, and I am terribly excited about this. Can't wait to show you. I'm going to show you some of it here in just a little while. We'll demo a little bit more that you haven't seen yet. The mobile app beta. Oh, did they catch the beholder down there? I thought that one was, man, yeah, too easy. Obviously, we're going to have to do something different here. All right, so we're going to stop and give away a legendary bundle. You have to type something in the chat. You can type anything that you would like in the chat. You can tell me that you're excited about the character sheet revamp. Whatever you want to type there. And we're going to choose a winner in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tokiyomo. Yomo? Yeah. We've got it written down. So congratulations. You have won a legendary bundle. We'll contact you afterwards. All right. Moving on. Mobile app beta. Phase 2, the next part of what we will place into the mobile app, into beta testing, will be our character content and listing. So the compiled class pages that I was talking about earlier with all the compiled options, those will be coming, as well as our spells, magic items, monsters listings. So all of that will be entering the app as part of the next phase, and then character sheet and character builder and those portions of this will follow that. So I want to be very clear about that. Right now we're getting feedback in the app stores that it doesn't have the character sheet. We've been very clear from the beginning that the character sheet is not going to be in the app until we are ready for it to be in the app. And so we are in the middle of this big revamp on the website. We're not going to put the old sheet into the app and waste all that effort of our precious development resources in order for us to just turn around and have to redo that. So character sheets are not in the app right now. They will not be until after we are able to put the rest of this compendium content in the listings in the app, and then we will start working on getting character sheet and all of that in the app. So trying to clarify that for folks. But it is something that we're working on. Homebrew subclasses, we have been delayed here. There have been some unfortunate, development roadblocks that we've hit on some of the other areas that are boring, to be honest, and so I won't get into those a lot right now. But we are delayed. But we are working on this, and I really hope that we're going to be able to get this out pretty soon. I'm not going to put a timetable on it right now, but it would not surprise me to see it, within a month, 2, probably at the absolute outside. I hope it's a lot sooner than that. But we're really, really trying to fit that in the scope of everything else that's going on. We are hiring, so please go out to curse.com/careers and help us out. We need some more development resources. I think we're hiring a front end right now. So go do that, and we're kind of trying to narrow that search right now. So definitely apply if you are able to do that. All right, new original content. So I am very happy to share that, and it actually didn't make it into the slide, but I have one more bit of news that I literally, before I walked in here into the studio, found out that we completed a contract for. But we do have Holly Conrad is going to be sharing Strix's Guide to the Multiverse with us. I don't have a time frame yet, but she's currently creating that content. There's going to be art. There's going to be written content. It's going to be from Strix's point of view. Very, very exciting stuff. So we'll be able to share that with you before too long. And then we are going to start branching out into comic art. This Adventures League series that I'm calling out here, I have just confirmed that Lisa Chen, who is an admin for the Adventures League, is going to be writing a series on Adventures League itself, how to get started playing Adventures League, a lot of really, really interesting things that she's going to be covering in that series. So very excited about that as well. We have others that are in the pipeline, but I can't quite talk about them yet because you have these things called attorneys out there, and they like contracts to be in place. So as we have news, we will continue to share that. But we have a lot more original content that is coming, and it's going to be really exciting. All right, let's take a look at a character sheet. All right, so can this get perfect? All right, so character sheet that we've been talking about. You guys have seen most of this view. Some of the things that you might not have seen yet is that as you're looking in, let's say, the combat section here, if I want to see more detail about that Staff of Fire, we have a sidebar now. Instead of using collapsibles all over the place, we have this sidebar. And so in this sidebar, I can manage, more of the details about what's actually going on with this. I can manage my charges. If I want to understand what Fireball is actually doing, I can dig down into Fireball, and then I can, come back out to my Staff of Fire. So I can see all of this. I can hide that sidebar anytime I want to, bring it back. We can even do things like, let's move this to the left of the screen. Let's see. So we can move the sidebar around. We can lock the sidebar if we want it to always stay up there. Let's move it back to the right here. And then one other thing that we're allowing you to do is you can fix the sidebar. So it actually is just going to slide everything over, and the sidebar can just persist up there all the time. The actions section, we're really excited about this. So you're going to be able to see, this is very, very helpful, even for veteran players, to understand what you can do in a round. So the action section is going to show you what you have available to you as bonus actions, what you have available to you as reactions, and then anything else that is kind of outside that action economy but is important for you to know on a round-by-round basis, like Action Surge that doesn't take an action, but it sure is nice to know you can do it, is in this other section. The spells section. So we have the ability here, if we've got this giant search here at the top. This is showing you that I search for fire, and I can find that Fireball is here on 3rd level spells. Now, one of the things that we are doing here as well, we currently hide spells kind of underneath categories. So we have item-based spells, we have class-based spells. We've heard overwhelming feedback from the community that that's not incredibly helpful, that you just kind of want to know what your spells are and what your options are on any, at any given point. And so with this, we will, if we have Fireball from the Staff of Fire that we could use, we're going to have this here. You can see that currently I can't use that because I actually don't have enough charges left. So if I remove one of those charges, I can use it. So we can use our Fireball, and you can see that it actually is going to use my charges there. I can also cast this Fireball. You can use either a spell slot or a pact slot if, now this is a really unoptimized character. I think it's got 5 levels of each of the different spellcasting classes. But I do have a pact slot available to me at this level, so I could do that. And you can see that down here we manage our spell slots, and then in this case a pact slot. You have all your modifiers. We're going to have tooltips over this stuff that shows you that this is where this is coming from. Again, that part of the screen is probably going to be a lot cleaner for typical characters. We just kind of throw worst case characters in there because we got to cover all the bases. So with this, you have all of your spells. Now, another really interesting thing that we are able to do is if I look at 1st level, these are all 1st level spells that are showing up here. If I look at cantrips, these are all cantrips that are showing up here. But with my 1st level spells, I have a lot of these spells are able to be scaled for increased effect. And so we're going to have an actual setting where you can choose to show those scaled spells and what their outcome would be at each level. And those will be denoted with some of this blue highlighting, that if I use Absorb Elements as a 2nd level spell slot, then I am going to actually be able to, the reactive melee damage on the next attack is going to increase to 2d6, and it's calling that out here. So again, if I move to 3rd level, I'm going to see those scaled things. Again, I want to emphasize that if you don't want this convenience that we're trying to provide, you can declutter this, and we'll be able to allow you to hide the scaled spells. But for many players, and especially if you have a character that is more normal than this hodgepodge of every single spellcasting class, it would be a really, really nice call out to understand that as a 6th level slot, I could, in this case, cast Fireball, and if I did it at that level, it's going to do 11d6 damage, and I can cast that, and it's going to use the slot, and then we are out of slots for 6th level spells. So again, you can search just about anything here in this Omni search. We are going to have some advanced filters. I told him I wasn't going to click on it. We're just starting to get that in there. I'm showing you under the hood right here. But with these advanced filters, it's just trying to give you some of the really, really advanced searching like you would have in our listings. So that will also be available to you. And this is the way that we have laid out spells. Again, very excited about this. If I want to see more detail about the spells, I can click on them here. And the sidebar is going to show me everything that I need to know about that spell for more information. But we hope that we are capturing the at-a-glance things that you really need to know in order to cast that spell, hopefully during combat where you're not going to slow things down here in the actual row listing. If we're not, that's the feedback we're going to want to hear from folks, and we will make this as useful as we possibly can as part of that. So, wanted to show you a couple of those things. Wanted to show you how this sidebar is going to work. You can click out you can click out of the different areas. Whoops. And oh, I think I had it locked. Oh no, it's because it was fixed. So if I unfix this, if it goes to overlay now, I can click out anywhere and that sidebar is going to go away if you don't want it there. So, comes back in and out based on that. We track inspiration, all kinds of things. So it is coming together, and we're starting to see, a lot of the layout and the play testing actually start happening now. So we hope to get this in everyone's hands as soon as possible. All right, let's jump back here. Another very exciting thing that we have going on is we are getting some animation done, and we are working with someone that I'm terribly excited to work with. She's just been phenomenal to get to know in a pretty short amount of time. But Camille Areopagita is going to be doing some animation for us. It's like, you got the perfect warlock, your weapons and supplies, that thing is going to be happening. And so when she's done with it, we're going to unveil that on an unsuspecting world. I wanted to show a little bit about her work and why we're so excited. Woo, gives me goosebumps. Absolutely incredible work. Really excited about what she's going to be creating for us. Do check her out on Patreon and support the arts, and in this case, support Cami. Very excited to be working with her. All right. Let's see. Is it going to let me? There we go. It is time for questions and answers. All right. So, questions from the forums. As always, I very frequently get the question, when is this thing going to be out? And as always, I tell you, I'm not going to tell you that. I can only tell you directionally what we're working on and what is important to us and what is being prioritized and what's basically coming next in the pipeline. So, again, I can give you T-shirt sizes of the effort that we're going on. For instance, the character sheet revamp that is going on right now is at least a 3XL, possibly a 4XL T-shirt size, compared to making something like Warlock Invocations happen on the compiled class pages as an extra small. All right, so we are working on the things that I just shared with you. We are trying to get it out as soon as we possibly can. Custom module creation is a question that I actually get quite a bit of the time, and this is something I'm going to try to shoot through these pretty quickly to where we can get to some of these questions in chat. Custom module creation is not off the table. It is something we have actively been discussing, so we'll see what can happen there. Ad hoc feats, skills, tools, scrolls, items, all of these things are things that we are incorporating, and as part of the character sheet revamp, we will be rolling out, I believe, every single one of those things. So we are going to, for instance, start seeing the feats data that I shared with you earlier, where 9% of players before 4th level have a feat. We're going to start to see that potentially be skewed unless we filter out the fact that people can use custom feat progression and basically add a feat whenever they want to. I know a lot of Dungeon Masters award feats at 1st level, for instance, for all characters. You're going to be able to do all of that. You'll be able to add custom skills. You could, if you want to use Thieves' tools as a skill and tie dexterity to that, you'll be able to do that in the sheet. Scrolls, we're definitely going to be providing a solution for allowing you to pick up a certain spell level of scroll and assign a spell to that. So all of that is coming. Weapon properties, basic equipment, these are all questions about the sheet revamp. You're going to be able to add weapon properties. I believe that already can happen for homebrew content. I'm fairly certain that it can already happen. I'm kind of always in the already but not yet mindset because I'm seeing things before you guys are. But weapon properties, either way, whether it's part of the initial revamp release, it is something that we're talking about doing. Basic equipment, as I've told you before, I'm not a fan of doing that with homebrew because the bases and the categories are so well covered. If we ever implemented something like that, I imagine it would be base equipment, and then allow you to play with things like the weapon properties. That is on the list, and that is something that's coming. Some of the custom type components from the DM's guide, such as honor, sanity, spell points. Right now, we have every intention of providing some of those optional rules, but our priority is to make sure that we're covering the bases of the big swings for things that we know are going to impact most of the player base. And so that is where we are doing something like a sheet revamp. Spell points are something that a very small percentage of the community uses. I understand that it's difficult and challenging if you are using that, but it is something that's on the list. It's just way down the list because we have so many other fish to fry. All right, Windows. Oh, did people say it? Really? Are you serious? You caught that? Unbelievable. What? So they saw it on this thing? Oh my goodness. You guys are too much. All right. So we're going to stop and give away a legendary bundle that I thought was very cleverly hidden. But you guys are way too smart for that. All right. So here we go. We're going to give it away. You got to type in chat something, type that you cheated or whatever you want to type there. And we're going to give it away in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. RV 2220. RV 2220. Congrats. You have won a legendary bundle. We will get with you after the show. Thanks again for your participation. All right, back to the questions. Windows, Amazon mobile app. So I can tell you at this point in time, we do intend to be in the Amazon App Store, available for Kindle Fire type devices. I don't have a timeline on that yet, but we are currently working that. We do not currently have any plans for Windows mobile for the mobile app. Again, if we see significant demand here, it's something that we would keep an eye on. We have not seen that significant demand to this point. Homebrew subclasses, custom resources. So this was a question: when homebrew subclasses are available for the community, are we going to be able to create custom resources such as key or sorcery points? So the answer to that part is yes, you will be able to do them to the extent that we have currently implemented those resources. We are also going to be adding a new system, kind of following the character sheet revamp at some point, where we will have more dedicated sections on that character sheet for things like key and sorcery points. At that point in time, we will have to incorporate that into homebrew, and we have every intention of doing that as well. So the short-term answer is yes, and the longer-term answer is yes, and even better. All right, the sheet revamp. What does it look like on mobile? I keep getting that question a lot. We don't have anything that is quite ready to share from a mobile perspective yet. I could have thrown together a mock, but really, just imagine that it is still using theme colors. It is still presenting the information in the same ways. We have done it on a grid system where there are basically 4 columns. Those 4 columns correspond perfectly to the size of a phone. 2 of those columns correspond perfectly to a tablet size. So all of that's going to mesh together like that. We're going to remove some of the side borders, and we'll go to more like horizontal dividers where we can give ourselves more room from the width perspective. But mobile's going to look great and is going to be really useful. Exhaustion, we're going to be able to track the levels of exhaustion. Yes, that is on the list. Containers is on the list. It will not be part of the character sheet revamp. I want to make sure everybody understands that. This is a major undertaking that we want to, it's not just about containers, it's about equipment and inventory management in general. And that is something that is on, I would say, kind of the midterm list that we will get to hopefully at some point this year. We'll see how that goes. Community feature, feedback, and ranking. So this is a question about the things that we are working on. Is there a way for the community to look at those things and rank those things? And I can tell you that, first of all, we are already gathering this feedback in a variety of places. And so this is something that we could potentially do through surveys on our forums, but our forums are not the whole story. And so we do have to look at this very holistically across the entire community that is using D&D Beyond. And so it is something that you will see actually fairly soon. You'll start to see some surveys where we're asking you very specific questions where we are soliciting that feedback. So you will see that, but no concept of ranking or anything like that in the near term. Non-English translations. I will go ahead and share that we just received yesterday the Spanish translation of it's at least the player's handbook. So the answer is yes, we are starting to get translations, and we are going to provide those in the future. I have no timeline on how long that's going to take to digitize. Unfortunately, we don't have anybody sitting on our team specifically that can speak Spanish, for instance, and so we're going to have to try to find some help to make sure that we are digitizing that appropriately. But it is something that we have the files now, and we're going to start doing, at least for Spanish. We'll start to see French and I think Japanese and some others in the near-term future. Critical Role and Matt Colville content. So this was another question. So the answer is yes, we are working with both of these individuals and companies to try to get whether it's the Tal'Dorei campaign setting or Strongholds and Followers into DDB. All signs lead to yes at this point, but nothing is concrete until we actually share an official announcement. Public homebrew, publishing others' work. So I actually called this out as a question here because if this is happening, this is something that I really strongly encourage anyone in the community. If you find this happening, I want you to report it. We are going to implement a reporting system directly into the homebrew interface in the future. That's not ready yet, but in the short term, find one of those moderators that I identified before on the forums. They have orange names. Find someone like that and report that someone is trying to quote unquote steal work. And a lot of times this happens very innocently, but we do want to make sure this is not happening. So please report it if you see it. Wild Shape, Companions, Familiars. These are on the short-term list. We hope that we're going to see those soon. Unlock additional character slots. So this is a question about possibly raising the amount of character slots that you have as part of a subscription where you get unlimited. If you're a free account, you get only 6. And at this point in time, we do not have any current plans to do that outside of the very minimal subscription for a hero tier. $2.99 a month, you have unlimited characters forever and always. Initiative tracker, DM tools, yes, very much so on the list. I'm hoping that we can start to get into those very much so in the back half of the year. This is Your Life from Xanathar's Guide to Everything, kind of that entire walking through section to generate and establish a background and history. That is something that we have plans to implement. It is definitely further down the list than some of these really big ticket items that we're working on, but we do want to do it. I think it will eventually happen. Development process, what do we use? Scrum, Waterfall. We absolutely use Agile Scrum type methodology. We currently are using 1 week sprints is how that goes. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, that's what's happening. Again, we are hiring a front-end developer right now that you can come and scrum with us. So please, curse.com/careers. Characters organization and folders. So this is basically on the My Characters screen, being able to organize those characters better, maybe sort them, place them into categories or folders. Definitely on the list, and a quality of life change that we hope we can get to pretty soon. Mechanics-focused video content. So obviously the video content that Todd Kenrick is doing is really focused on interviewing the designers about what's coming on, especially for upcoming products. That is a wonderful thing, but we are starting to see some demand for creating more mechanics-focused content, such as around, here is how stealth works and all of that. I can definitely see this as something that will be happening over the course of this year. Todd and I have talked about it at great length. So yes, I imagine we will start seeing more and more of that content. How are you, Bad Eye? I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for asking. All right, that's all from the forums. How much time we got left? Oh, man, 7 minutes. All right, I'm going to try here, guys. All right, let's see. Let's start at the top. Wow, lots of questions. All right. Cyberwolf1201, loving the homebrew articles and love that they link to the actual homebrew pages. Any way to facilitate adding those to homebrew collections? That's a great question, and it is something that we are definitely going to work on, making it a little easier to add it to your collection. You can do that through the page itself, but you have to. It's kind of a two-step process. We are looking for some ways that we can make that a little more streamlined. Night Style. Please tell us anything about a potential API. It is something that we would like to do, but it is not something that we are working with in the immediate future. So that's the something that I'll tell you at this point. We have to be very, very cautious about the way that anything like an API comes out to the community, because to be honest, if we put out something that is halfway done and not up to the full quality that we would want, we would run into far more problems than it would provide benefits. So it is on the list, and it is something that I hope we can get to in the future. Link Z15. Is DDB content ever going to become available through Amazon? I answered that one. That's good. So yes, your Fire tablets will have it hopefully before too long. Windows 10 app for reading Compendium offline. As I said earlier, not on the current roadmap. Leaf Bread, will there eventually be support for mundane custom items? Answered that one too. Let's see. The Gmote? I don't know how you say that. What did we do to deserve such an awesome team to give us such awesome content? Wow. Thank you so much. You're going to make me blush. I don't know what you did, but we're going to do it anyway. Caldac, are you working to make sure your site and app work for disabled gamers such as those using screen readers? We've got a great deal of feedback about this, and we appreciate that feedback majorly. And so the answer is yes, we are looking into ways to do this. I think that if you are a disabled gamer and you have difficulty seeing or any of those things, I think that it is pretty clear that the internet in general is a tough place, and some of the standards are not where they need to be. We take it very seriously. We are trying to educate ourselves more and more and more. Your feedback helps us with that. And so, yes, we are trying to take steps to make that much better. All right. Domino Mac 1, is private homebrew available to free users in the campaign? Yes. So please don't publish it. Yes, it is available. All right. Portal Jacker question. Will it make better use of higher resolution displays like, let's see, is that the app? Are we talking about the app there? Possibly. Or if you're talking about the website, there are some things that we've started kicking around on that front too. As far as the app goes, we're definitely following the highest end standards that we have for iOS and Android, and we'll continue to do that. Tech Whipley 89, will the campaign screen get any updates soon? Tools like initiative tracker. I kind of answered that. Soon is probably not happening, but it is definitely a priority for us. About in the middle of the roadmap right now. Hope we can get to it this year. Decoffrin, why is Unearthed Arcana selectable in the spell catalog if it doesn't bring up anything? It's probably a bug somewhere. Thank you for helping us identify it. I have a team of gnomes right now that are writing that down in our wonderful, ticketing system. All right. C. Mortier, the French pronunciation there. Would we be able to create our own themes for character sheet? Color background. Oh, yeah. Let me show you that. I didn't show you guys any of that amazingness. All right. So can we go back there real quick? Awesome. All right. So, yes, the answer is you can change themes. So, Warlock. Oh, there we go. And the answer is yes, we will have a variety. Ooh, here's some Paladin Gold. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, yeah. Beautiful stuff. I meant to show you guys that. I really like this Wizard Cobalt here. All right. So, yes, that is something that we'll be able to do. Let me go back here now. All right. Great question. Thanks for reminding me about that. And, yes, there will be more and more of those colors available for everyone to use. Let's see. Let me prioritize here. 2 minutes left. Manage income for characters, something that we want to try to do, and that would be part of that big inventory kind of redo that we're going to do with containers and all that I was alluding to earlier. Let's see. At a glance view for character screens. Yes, the at a glance view for a campaign and characters in that campaign for a DM, almost like a digital DM screen, is something that is also on the list and something that we will implement. Let's see. Will it be sung by Bad Eye or Sam Regal? Sam is going to sing that one. The next time that we do a jingle, I am going to sing it. So thank you for that question. How many people sing Sam's D&D Beyond song at the office? It's pretty much just me at this point, but I sing it loudly all day, all the time. How are key points going to be implemented on the new character sheet? Like, where will it be? That is what I was alluding to earlier as far as different sections for the different class resources. That's something that we want to do. It won't be in for the initial pass, and it will be included in class features initially, but we will make that improvement over time as well. Will older editions of D20 Modern be added to D&D Beyond? There are no current plans. We are a 5th edition digital tool set. That is all we will be covering. Artificer on D&D Beyond, as soon as they release another version of UA for that, we will incorporate that onto D&D Beyond. If I have a version of the book, well, the English version of the book, will I be able to access in other languages? They are separate products, and that is just the way that we have to do it through Wizards of the Coast. It is a separate product for the foreign language translations. Let's see, metric and English version, as soon as they start doing that at Wizards of the Coast, we will follow suit. I don't think it's going to happen, though. Let's see, we are out of time. Let me see, anything else? ETA for the revised character sheet as soon as we get it done and as soon as it is up to the standards that we want to follow through with our team here. Thank you all so very much. We will reach out to the Legendary Bundle winners. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Peace out.